crazy thing about that is, in the beginning, I didn't think she could do it, right? Because I know how clingy she was, right? And prior to me having this case,
Mendeecees and Yandy have been through a lot together, from the highs of love and drama to the lows of dealing with prison time. They seemed like the ultimate power couple. Their love story was publicly played out on Love and Hip Hop, and even when Mendeecees was behind bars, Yandy stood by him. Fans praised her for being loyal during his time in prison, and they appeared to have it all. But now, their marriage is on the brink of collapse, and it's all tied to a shocking revelation involving a DNA test that completely rocked their relationship. Sources say that Mendeecees found out something so devastating that it shattered the trust he had in Yandy. For years, they seemed unshaken by outside rumors, always presenting an image of a strong, inseparable couple. They were often seen as the perfect pair, with Yandy standing by Mendeecees during the toughest moments of his life. But underneath that flawless exterior, things weren't as perfect as they seemed.
I asked her, like, why are you doing that? Like, because I'm in the inside, I was worried for her, and she was like, that could have been you in there. That could have been you living in them conditions. So, again, it hit close to home.
Mendeecees had been feeling uneasy for a while. Something just didn't sit right with him, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Even though he wanted to believe in Yandy and trust her completely, there was this lingering feeling in the back of his mind that something wasn't quite right. Then came the moment that changed everything. A close friend, someone deeply connected to their inner circle, sat Mendeecees down and dropped a bombshell. The friend claimed they had evidence that Yandy hadn't been entirely honest about something that could shake the very foundation of their relationship. At first, Mendeecees didn't want to believe it. He thought that maybe people were just stirring the pot, especially because they were so much in the public eye. But the whispers kept coming, and they all seemed to say the same thing. He couldn't ignore it any longer. He started looking back on moments from their relationship, questioning things that he had never thought twice about before. Why did certain situations feel so rehearsed? Why did some of Yandy's stories not quite add up? And if these rumors were true, what else had she been hiding?
I've been let down my whole life. Right? I had expectations, and everyone I had expectations let me down. And I didn't want this relationship ruined.
Did you tell her that?
I told
her that, but did you really mean that?
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't mean it. I wanted to see if she take the exit. Like if he giving me sometimes
I'm gonna take it.
Sometimes you give someone an out and see if they take it. And if they take it, that's what they really want.
The more Mendeecees thought about it, the more he realized he needed answers. He needed closure for his peace of mind, even if it meant facing some uncomfortable truths. A trusted person in his life suggested something that could help him get clarity once and for all: a DNA test. Whether or not Mendeecees told Yandy about his plans is unclear, but he decided to go ahead with it. When the results came back, they were devastating. The test revealed something that Mendeecees never expected: a truth that completely shattered the trust he had in Yandy. This wasn't just a small lie or a misunderstanding, it was something that tore apart everything he believed about their relationship. When Mendeecees confronted Yandy about the test results, he expected her to deny everything with the same confidence she always had. He thought she would shut it down immediately, but what happened next left him speechless. Instead of denying it, she hesitated. That single pause in her reaction was all Mendeecees needed to know that his worst fears were true. It wasn't just his imagination or paranoia, this was real, and it was far worse than he had ever imagined. Mendeecees didn't react right away. He had learned in life that getting emotional wasn't always the best way to handle a situation.
I had to let her know, I'm here. Like, don't take advantage, because I'm here, right here. She knows. She knows. It's not this, she knows. Like, we've been together for a while to know that it's not my thing.
Instead of shouting or making a scene, he took a step back, stayed calm, and started piecing things together. He replayed old conversations in his mind, those moments when Yandy reassured him, when she told him things that now seemed suspicious. Had there been signs all along that he had ignored? Had Yandy been carefully crafting a narrative while he trusted her blindly? Determined to get to the bottom of things, Mendeecees started reaching out to people who had been around them for years. He spoke to close friends, family members, and even business associates. He wanted to know if anyone had any insight into what had really been going on. What he uncovered only made things worse. Some people admitted they had their own suspicions about Yandy but had never spoken up. Others hinted that certain parts of her past didn't add up, but no one had ever questioned her directly. There were rumors of inconsistencies in her stories, things that didn't match up when you really thought about them. Mendeecees didn't stop there. He decided to dig even deeper. He started going through financial records, analyzing years of transactions, asking himself whether everything had been as transparent as it seemed. He combed through social media posts, comparing timelines and looking for any gaps or contradictions. Then he started looking through old text messages and call logs, hoping to find something that would explain it all.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when he did, everything became crystal clear. Yandy hadn't just hidden something from him, she had built their entire life around a secret. The truth had been there all along, sitting in front of him, and now that he knew it, there was no turning back. Mendeecees wasn't going to make a scene. He wasn't going to storm in with accusations. He decided to handle things the way he always had, calm, controlled, and with a clear mind. When he finally sat Yandy down, he didn't yell or throw anything at her. He simply asked direct questions, no drama, just facts. At first, Yandy did what she always did, she played it cool. She tried to brush it off, acting as if it was all a misunderstanding. She insisted that things weren't as they seemed, but Mendeecees had already done his homework. He wasn't buying it. That's when he pulled out the DNA results, the one piece of evidence that couldn't be argued or explained away. At that moment, Yandy had no choice but to admit the truth. But things didn't go as Mendeecees expected. Instead of breaking down in regret or apologizing for keeping this secret from him, Yandy tried to justify her actions. She didn't deny what had happened. Instead, she tried to explain why she did it, as though there was some kind of reasoning that could make it okay. For Mendeecees, that response was almost as painful as the betrayal itself. He had expected Yandy to break down and show remorse. He thought she would apologize and explain her reasons. But instead, she tried to make excuses for her behavior. According to insiders, Yandy didn't crumble when confronted with the truth. She didn't show any regret. Instead, she said she did it all for the sake of their family, as though Mendeecees couldn't understand the greater good behind her actions. But for Mendeecees, a lie is a lie, and this wasn't just any lie. It was something that had shaped their entire relationship, and now that he knew the truth, he couldn't ignore it. Mendeecees had spent years standing by Yandy, defending their love against critics, ignoring rumors, and building a family together. And now, he found out that everything he believed in was based on a lie. That was the breaking point. There was no going back from this. Mendeecees knew that the trust had been completely broken, and once trust is gone, it's impossible to rebuild. It wasn't something that could be fixed with an apology. It wasn't a rough patch they could work through. For Mendeecees, this was it. He made the biggest decision of his life. He was filing for divorce. Once the news became public, the internet went wild. Social media erupted as fans and followers tried to make sense of what was happening. Some people sympathized with Mendeecees, seeing him as the victim. They believed he had been betrayed by the one person he trusted most. Others took Yandy's side, speculating that there was more to the story and that maybe Mendeecees was overreacting. Some even questioned if Mendeecees had his own skeletons in the closet, accusing him of using the DNA test as an excuse to leave. Conspiracy theories also started to pop up. Some wondered if this entire drama was staged for publicity. After all, reality TV stars know how to keep their names in the headlines. Or maybe Yandy had been protecting someone else who was involved in the situation all along. Then, in an attempt to address the situation, Yandy posted an emotional video. But instead of outright denying the allegations, she danced around the truth. She spoke about love, sacrifice, and the hard choices people make for family. But she never admitted to lying, and she certainly didn't apologize. Her refusal to take responsibility only made things worse. Now, the question is, did Mendeecees make the right decision by filing for divorce? Was Yandy really trying to protect their family, or was she just covering up something much bigger? And is there more to this story that we don't know yet? The debate is already raging online, and people are taking sides. What do you think? Let's dive into the comments and discuss, because this is far from over. And trust me, there's more to come that will take this story to another level. Stay tuned, because things are about to get even messier.